Today, I'm playing Chicken Run for the PlayStation 1, but I'm adding a bit of spice to the playthrough, RetroAchievements, a site that adds achievements to retro games. With these achievements, I'll have to take on 3 crazy acts filled with Metal Gear Solid-like stealth missions, cursed enemies that terrified me as a child, and some of the most infuriating minigames I've ever had to play, all wrapped up in one of my favourite films as a kid, Chicken Run. With 15 achievements to grab to earn that sweet RetroAchievements mastery, it's time to dive in. Chicken Run begins with Tweedy's farm, a prison for chickens, patrolled by the Tweedies and the scurriest looking dogs. We get introduced to Ginger, a chicken who is determined to free all of the chickens on the farm, and that's where our playthrough begins. Ginger tells Mac that she has a new plan to escape. Look at those graphics. Ginger wants to cut through the fence to escape, so Mac the Brainiac sends us off to find an old butter knife and some broken shears. Checking our inventory, we can see that we have a map, we can check any items that we've collected, and we can see the current escape plans. Scattered around the game are pieces of the map and bonus pictures as collectibles, so I'll be on the lookout for these to earn 2 achievements. And with that, Act 1 begins. Heading outside, I was instantly met with childhood trauma from these damn dogs. Trying to run and hide from them was terrifying, and the animation when they capture you is enough to give any kid nightmares. I don't remember much of this game, but that animation has lived in my memory rent-free for 25 years. Luckily, there are boxes of sprouts around that we can throw to distract the dogs. This game is all about stealth, making our way around the map, avoiding guard dogs, the Tweedies, and looking out for the items we need for our escape plans, like these broken shears. If we get captured at any point, a random item is taken from us and we have to go back and find it again. This gets ridiculous later on. While being chased by a dog, I escape into hut number 2 for safety, and then I'm met with a mini game, the Bunty Express. By mashing the circle button, each of the chickens lay eggs which we need to capture with the X button. These minigames give out bronze, silver, and gold medals, and the gold medals are awful to get. First time around, I didn't even get enough eggs to earn a bronze medal. I gave it a few more tries and decided to leave. I'll return to this minigame later on. Running back to Mac with the items, she makes us some wire cutters. Ginger comes up with a plan to disguise the chickens as Mrs. Tweedy, the owner of the farm. So Mac gives us a list of items, some poles, boots, gloves, and Mrs. Tweedy's long dress. Taking our brand new wire cutters, I avoided the dogs and cut a hole in the rusty fence to open up a new part of the map. I finally figured out how to sneak around, and good timing, as there are searchlights and guards everywhere. If we step into any light or alert anyone, the dogs will chase us down. But luckily, there are boxes hidden around the map that we can stay in until the coast is clear. I find a brand new piece of the map and head up some steps. Mrs. Tweedy is on the lookout, so I wait for my time to dash, and now I grab the gloves and find a bonus picture, and leg it back to a box after finding another piece of the map. I can't lie, the way this game makes me feel is exciting. Like I don't know what's around every corner. Searching around, I find the poles that I need, but then I'm captured by a dog and I lose the gloves, so I'll have to pick them up later on. At the back of the house is a searchlight, being switched on and off by Mrs. Tweedy. I find the boots and oh my god, I can disguise myself as a boot. Look at this shit. What a video game. Now we can safely step into the searchlight, and by timing it, we can cut down Mrs. Tweedy's dress, and we just about make it back to the darkness before she spots us. On the way back, I grab the gloves again and give all of the items to Babs so she can make the Mrs. Tweedy cosplay. And our first achievement pops, a brand new plan for building a mannequin of Mrs. Tweedy in Act 1. It took me a whole 19 minutes to finish Act 1, and I was caught 4 times. No wonder I never made it past this first level as a kid. It's pretty difficult. We then get a cutscene of the chickens dressed up as friggin' Mrs. Tweedy. What is going on? This is a chase level? By tapping X and circle, we have to keep the balance of the chickens while also running away from the dogs. On the sides, we can open up the doors to the fences to rescue a total of 24 chickens. We escape the dogs but end up back at the prison farm and pop the achievement 3 chickens in a trench coat for outrunning the dogs in dog chase. From that escape plan, a bunch of chickens got hurt, so Ginger needs to come up with a brand new plan, a catapult. She then sees Rocky, a rooster who casually flies over the fence and lands inside the prison. This gives Ginger the idea of escaping over the fence, and Rocky decides to help out. Now at Act 2, we have 3 different escape plans to try out. The seesaw plan, fireworks plan, and a catapult plan. All of that requires a ton of items, so off we go. I find a couple more map pieces and find some new huts. A couple of these new huts are where we need to bring the items to so that the chickens can put together the inventions. And some of the huts have items that we need, like the rusty spoon, and some more collectibles. Using the rusty spoon, we can now escape into a new section of the map, where Rocky is waiting for us. With Rocky, we can now explore. I find a piece of the map and enter into into a pipe. Look at this guy. This game is great. For getting past the dogs, we find another bonus picture and find a way into the barn. The barn has some more collectibles, and then the radar in the bottom right kept dinging. The radar in the bottom right is our map. It will ding if there's any items close by that we need to pick up, and it will also show enemies on the map. But for the life of me, I could not figure out why the radar kept dinging until I finally got back up top and pushed down a haystack. Turns out the dinging was this rusty ladder that we needed. I need to start checking the actual items I need in the plan section of the inventory. This would have saved me a bunch of time. Leaving the pipe, I jump on some sacks and grab the 9th map piece and the 4th bonus picture. Jumping up to this window, I find the tractor room. The fireworks are shown up above. The tractor has some switches on it, and after some messing around, I managed to get the tractor to lift up a container to get us across to the fireworks. I take the items back to Ginger so she can drop off the items with the other chickens before we lose them to any guard dogs. Heading out of the rusty fence, and look at this idiot. Not a single thought between those eyes. Time to find the rest of our items. We see Mrs. Tweedy leave a room, but I think nothing of it. At the back of the house, there is now a sleeping guard dog surrounded by items that we need, like the rope and a tennis racket that it happens to be sleeping on. But I spot a dog bone, and by carefully sneaking over, we can swap out the tennis racket for the bone and leave with no issues. We now have enough items to complete one of the plans, and we get to try out our next minigame, Spring Chickens. We can aim with the D-pad and give more or less power to the spring. Our goal here is to fire the chickens over the fence onto the crates and barrels in the water, and trying not to have any of the chickens drown in the process. I sucked at this. Again, this is another minigame that I'll need to come back and get a gold medal on. I wasn't expecting minigames when I started this. I mean, to be fair, I didn't expect Chicken Run of all games to be a Metal Gear Solid clone, but here we are. After a bunch of trying, I just about managed to get a bronze medal by saving 20 chickens. How many are needed for the gold medal? Heading into the sea farm, I speed past an item. While being chased by a dog, I can't pick it up, so I sprint into hut number 12 for safety. I grab a bonus picture from here and head back outside for the map piece that I missed. Hut number 6 also had a bonus picture. Going back to Rocky, I spent ages hiding from Mr. Tweedy and searching the area for the final item. I knew I was right. I need to get into the room Mrs. Tweedy keeps leaving. Oh god, I'm scared. Look at the state of this bitch. Somehow, I get away with hiding in plain sight and enter the egg counting room. I still need to be careful as she can come in and out. I push a crate, and just as I'm about to grab the weights that I need, she enters the room. Now, how do I leave without her finding me? She'll never see me here. Oh god! I grab the weights again and rush back to Ginger. Now that we have all of the items, we can play the next 2 minigames. First up is Foul Shot. I enjoyed this one a lot. I just have to launch the chicken strapped to fireworks through any exit I can see. The windows, doors, and even the roof. And still, I can only get a bronze medal. I'm dreading the gold medals. Up next is Weight Expectations. Here, I've got to work out where to launch the chickens so that they land on the mattress and then bounce over the fence. These 2 little chickens deserve to be left behind. Help me out, guys. Look at this crap. When they run into the corner like that, I can't even send the chickens over there. I managed to earn a bronze medal, and the achievement, those chickens are up to something, pops, for building 3 catapult schemes in Act 2. Then, Ginger gets captured by Mr. Tweedy.
They've got Ginger!
Ginger is strapped to a machine, but Rocky shows up to save us, and fails. Alright, time to go save Ginger. I'm sure this won't be too hard. Oh wow, okay, that was fast. No worries, I'll just try again. What is going on? This is ridiculous. I think this small section of Chicken Run takes the cake for the amount of times I've died in a video game in just 60 seconds. All I need to do is jump over the friggin' machines, but for the life of me, I just kept dying. Finally, I made it over. Suddenly, this game becomes a platformer with machine parts to avoid at pretty high speeds, and at the end, we find Ginger. The machine starts to blow, and we just about escape as the Tweedies are trying to fix the machine. Ginger and Rocky swing over a pit of gears onto a conveyor belt, and the machine reveals its true identity. It's a chicken pie machine! We rush back to warn the other chickens, and we also pop the achievement Mrs. Tweedy's Chicken Pies for narrowly escaping the pie machine, and Act 2 is finished. I managed to save 71 chickens in just under an hour, and I was caught a total of 20 times. Act 3 begins with the final plan. Fowler is telling the other chickens about his RAF days, as a chicken does, giving Ginger the idea to craft a crate plane for them to leave.
We're still going to fly out of here.
What?
Fowler's provided the answer.
I have?
We'll make a crate.
This is gonna take a lot of parts. Oh yeah, at this point in the film, Rocky ends up being a fraud and has left for now. Turns out he was fired out of a cannon at a circus and didn't actually fly over the fence, so the chickens ditched him. So we are back to just playing as Ginger. For the crate plane, we have the engine plan, construction plan, and the wings plan. The D farm is now available to us, giving us new chickens that we have to deliver the parts to. This is a crazy list of plane parts, and there's 2 rats for the job, Nick and Fletcher, although they will only work if we give them at least 6 chicken eggs. So I'll have to grab the eggs from the minigame and then take them all the way over to the rats. First stop, the kitchen, which is now open at the back of the house. Nick and Fletcher are really interesting to play as. You can instantly swap between the two. Nick is strong, so he will be moving all the heavy objects, and Fletcher can double jump. I like these sections. Using the rats to figure out how to grab each of the items was a ton of fun, even with the slippery physics. We grab a gnome and some cloves and head into an office. There's a dog in here, and at first it kept capturing me. I can start an action on this pull rope, but nothing would happen. Then I used my brain for once. Equipping the gnome, we can sprint over to the other side of the room, and by jumping on the rope, it sends the other part up, sending Fletcher flying. Perfect. Up top are the binoculars we need, as well as the 9th bonus picture and a ball of yarn. We give these items back to Ginger. I quickly drop off all of the items and spend some time looking for the rats again. I finally get caught by Mr. Tweedy, as the one damn hut in this game that's locked stopped me from escaping from him. Heading into the barn, I find some wood and a hatch that I can drop down. Finally, I've found the rats again. But I forgot the bloody eggs. Are you kidding me? So I have to run all the way back, drop off the wood, do the friggin' egg minigame for like the 19th time, and then return with the precious 6 eggs that they asked for. Back in the tractor room, I grab the poles and mess around with the tractor. It took some time, but after turning the engine on, removing the weight at the back and letting the tractor loose, it flies towards the barn doors, sending the engine flying, and we pick up a chain to hand everything over to Ginger. Now, this part was frustrating. I spent a Metal Gear Solid minute looking for this damn tractor engine, and while searching, I got captured and lost the poles. I was so mad. This means I'll have to do the egg minigame again. Got all the way back to grab the poles with the rats again, and when I finally dropped off the items with the chickens, turns out the chickens already grabbed the tractor engine. I didn't even need to go looking for it. I just wasted so much time. At least the wings are complete, letting us play the chicken wings minigame. This shit was confusing. I'm spamming the button combos while swapping between 3 chickens to complete the blueprints in the bottom left. I swear the only thing keeping me going in these minigames is the fun music. With us now being in Act 3, each of these new minigames needs to be completed with at least a bronze medal to wrap everything up. So I'll attempt this again once I have the other 2 plans finished. Now, we just have to find the rats one last time. They are in the egg counting room. And speaking of eggs, I forgot about them again. My brain was not built for this game. This final room was awful, but at least we can grab 2 achievements. Cartographer for collecting all of the map pieces, and Photographer for collecting all of the bonus pictures. Hell yeah. We pick up an oil can and end up at the chicken pie machine that Mr. Tweedy is trying to fix. There's 2 items right next to him on both sides that we need, the gears and tools. Using the buttons on the chicken pie machine to distract him, I nabbed the gears, but for the life of me, I cannot get the tools. He captured me about 5 times while I was trying to get them. This is ridiculous. On the final attempt, I don't know what I did different, but I just about grabbed them and took them all back to Ginger. Now, with every plan complete, it's time to get bronze on these 3 minigames in order to escape the farm. First up, Poultry in Motion. Even though we cast him out, Rocky shows up for this minigame. There are 3 parts to this. Keeping Rocky happy by blowing bubbles into his bath, oiling the machine, and then getting the engine running by pedaling. It's all about time management, spending as much time oiling the engine and then swapping back before Rocky gets upset. I end up failing, so for now, let's move on. Hen at Work. This one is a rhythm game. We have to copy what tools Mr. Tweedy is using, and in time, hit the buttons with the song so that we don't alert him. It should be very easy, and for the bronze medal, it is. For the gold medal later on, it's going to be a pain. Back at Chicken Wings, I almost break my fingers just absolutely smashing the buttons to just about get away with a bronze medal. And back at Poultry in Motion, it finally clicks. I have to keep Rocky happy first, run up the engine, and then focus on the oiling. The engine chicken will keep on going locked in on the same speed as long as the oil is coming in. And finally, I got a gold medal, popping the achievement, Pedal to the Metal. We also got the achievement, A Complex Aircraft, for building the craft in Act 3. We see the chickens escaping in the crate plane, but the ramp falls down. Ginger leaves to put the ramp back up, but Mrs. Tweedy shows up and almost kills Ginger with an axe. axe. Luckily, Rocky finally comes back on a tricycle and flies over the fence straight into Mrs. Tweedy's face, knocking her out, and the axe just about misses her head. Rocky and Ginger have a moment, but the chickens are still coming towards the ramp. Together, Rocky and Ginger get the ramp up and grab onto some Christmas lights dangling from the crate to fly off with the rest of the chickens. And just as they are about to kiss for the first time, oh shit, it's Mrs. Tweedy. She's somehow keeping a hold of the lights, and now we need to kill her once and for all. I will say, this was the most flaccid boss fight I've ever done in my life. You just have to keep smacking her into things until you circle back to the farm. The chickens escape and Mrs. Tweedy ends up stuck in the pie machine. It explodes as Mr. Tweedy closes the door. And then Mr. Tweedy just kills his wife by dropping a door on her. What the hell is this film, dude? The chickens are happy, Nick and Fletcher hug, and Ginger and Rocky finally kiss. And everyone gets the happy ending. But not me, no, because as the next achievement pops, Fly the Coop, for using the crate to escape the farm, it's now time to earn a gold medal on the rest of those minigames. It took an hour and a half to finish the third act, and we saved a total of 400 chickens. I check out the pictures and secret ending that I've unlocked from getting all the collectibles, which is just the ending of the film where all the chickens are living in paradise. And now it's finally time to lock in. The first minigame, Weight Expectations. This was one of the hardest games. Just trying to predict where the two chickens were going to take the mattress and having the right amount of power took 20 whole minutes to perfect. I got a bronze medal, a ton of silver medals, and on my final try, I finally got that gold medal for saving a total of 30 chickens to pop the achievement. Hold that thing still. With how much I played the Bunty Express during the main story, it only took one attempt of just mashing the chickens to make them lay eggs and capturing them at the last second. Grabbing 12 eggs pops the achievement, overfeeding yields results. I figured out spring chickens very fast, and I might just get a world record. For the closer barrels, I added little to no power, and for the far off ones, I added full power, and became a spring chicken god, saving 36 chickens for the achievement A Day at the Lake. Foul Shot only took 2 attempts, once I figured out that the tire swing and the roof at the top left also count of ways of escaping. I saved a total of 41 friggin' chickens to pop Fireworks Show. Chicken Wings is one of the hardest minigames, just due to the amount of speed you need to have. It can tire you out super fast. When the bulbs turn green, that material is being made, so your time can go to mashing the next one. However, when the red bulb shows back up, you have just a couple of seconds to go back to collect the item. It's all about keeping the chickens working as fast as possible without losing any of the materials. It doesn't help that the game doesn't tell you what's needed for the gold medal. You just need to spam and hope. And after 25 minutes of attempts, I had an insane run, which finally unlocked the gold medal and achievement, Assembly Line Efficiency. And now it's time for the final minigame, Hen at Work, the rhythm game. This should have been my favorite minigame. I love playing Guitar Hero, and I'm one of those freaks who plays it on a standard Xbox controller, not even the actual guitar, so I'm good at this shit. But the amount of misses I had was ridiculous, and when you mess up, it basically messes up the entire run. And this minigame is long. It takes like 4 minutes to go all the way through it. It has so many different sections with the saw, wrench, and hammer, and at the very end is this insane part. It took a lot of practice and some frustrating restarts, but my final run was a perfection. I didn't miss a single button, and for that, we get the gold medal and achievement Stealth Crafting. And with that, Chicken Run for the PlayStation 1 is finally mastered. Be sure to check out another mastery video on the channel if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and if you want to know the next retro game that I'm gonna master, all you have to do is subscribe.